All right. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you being here. Today is Thursday. We are going to be talking about the number one threat to your brand or business today. Go ahead and leave your comments in the live chat below, whether you are on one of the 8 different platforms that we are live streaming today. I will do my best to answer those. Again, thank you so much for watching today. Let's go ahead and talk about the number one reason why businesses or brands fail. Coming up next. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the number one reason why businesses fail. Now, there can be multiple reasons that go in line with why a business or a brand might fail, but there's one overshadowing reason why that would happen. Some people think it's because of bad marketing or because they don't have a great website, or maybe it's their business location or the market itself is struggling. But the number one reason why businesses fail is, are you ready? It's obscurity. Obscurity is the number one reason why businesses fail. You've got to figure out a way to elevate your profile so that people know who you are, what you do, and why they should even buy from you, right? And so if people don't know who you are and what you do, how do you expect them to actually buy from you, right? So think about that. Businesses also fail because people forget about you, which is the exact same thing. It's obscurity. So you may be able to go out and go to a networking event and people know who you are, but people are going to forget about you if you're not nourishing those leads, if you're not constantly in front of their faces, right? Earlier this week, we talked about CRMs and what CRMs are and why they're important to have. But in that, we talked about how 48% of salespeople never follow up. And the reason why they don't get the sale is because they are not constantly in front of their customer. They're not constantly in front of their potential client. So people have to think that this obscurity, this is the biggest problem that you currently have. And so you have to be consistent and be in front of people. The average time it takes for a potential client to close on a sale is between 5 and 12 touch points. So what are you doing to call them, text them, be on their social media feed, things like that? All of that goes in line with those touch points, 5 to 12, okay? But obscurity is the number one biggest problem that companies face. It's bigger than money. It's bigger than just one social media platform. You have to start thinking bigger, okay? You have to start thinking that more is better. So not just one social media platform, but multiple social media platforms. You should be thinking anywhere from 3 to 5 platforms you should be on, whether that's telephone, internet, social media, anything. Let's go ahead and talk about 4 ways that you can actually get out of obscurity. All right. So first thing you have to ask yourself is how far you're going to go to get attention, and how frequent are you going to be in your attempts. There cannot be, you can't think, oh, I'm going to overpost. There's no such thing as overposting. You can post as much as you want on these social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever is the new fad that's coming out, right? They do not put limits on how often you can post. I've had people that I follow who have posted so much that I get mad. Why are they posting so much? But that is a surefire sign of success, right? Because they are constantly in front of me. They're constantly doing either their sales pitch, or they're showing me their lifestyle. They're showing me how they live. They're trying to be relatable to me. Okay. And that's how you got to be. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about number 1. So before the internet, we had newspapers, and people used to love newspapers. It used to be a big deal when you were in the newspaper. But now that's kind of a thing of the past. Most newspapers are moving online. Some magazines and newspapers are going completely online. They're stopping the print because people always search online, right? So what can you do for that? Well, you can write a blog, okay? A blog is a great way to get your information out. People still love to read. They like to hear the information. They like to read the information. And so a blog is a great tool to have. Is it the only tool you should have? Well, let's consider a few things, okay? There are 1.7 billion websites right now. And I'm sure that number is constantly growing. Okay. There are also 600 million blogs. Okay. So what are you going to do with your blog that is going to raise you up above the rest? That's the kind of question you should be thinking about, right? Okay. So we talked about blogs, number one. Number two, okay, before we had TV, right? TV was great. We always saw the commercials. Nowadays, you don't even have to have commercials. But most people don't sit down and just watch regular TV anymore. Okay. What do they do instead? They actually sit down and they watch YouTube. They watch live videos, right? So you don't even have to pay to be on any kind of news network anymore. You actually can be on YouTube, Facebook Live, Instagram Stories, Instagram TV, Periscope, if that's still a thing. We're streaming to Periscope right now. So something to consider there. So think about what are you doing about, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the comments here. Aaron, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm always worried sometimes if I post too much, not enough. Right. Think that you cannot post enough. You should be posting all the time. And there are certain tools out there that will help you do that. You can go out to, these third-party apps like Hootsuite or Later or MeetEdgar. These tools help you schedule your posts out. Some of them will actually even recycle some of your posts, right? So you can give them RSS feeds. They'll pull from those RSS feeds at certain times when you tell them to. So that's something to consider there as well. But YouTube is a great tool because now you can actually just be online giving your tutorials, doing what you do best, and people will want to watch that. The secret to that, though, is being consistent, right? That's why seasons of TV series are so good, because you can expect, every week these are going to be on, or you can binge watch nowadays even. So that's something to consider there. So now let's talk about some statistics, some things to consider about YouTube. There are 31 million YouTube channels alone right now, okay, with 2 billion active users. Okay, so that's a huge audience that you have an opportunity to get in front of. That's way more than what I can get here locally, right? And so that's something that I've got to be constant. Me as a brand, as a person, I'm thinking, okay, so now I've got to constantly be posting to YouTube because I want to get in front of as many people as possible. Something Grant Cardone, someone who I follow and follow the advice of, his goal is to get in front of all 7.75 billion people in the world, right? If they don't know me, then that's my fault. That's kind of his motto there. Also think about on YouTube, there are over 1 billion hours watched every single day on YouTube. It's probably it's either the most or the second most watched platform right now. So if you're not on YouTube, you're missing out on a big opportunity there. So every single person should think about posting videos or posting live videos. And the number one enemy to consistency is perfection. People think that they have to be perfect all the time when they post. I mean, if you go back into my YouTube channel and you look at some of the first videos I ever did on YouTube, oh man, even a year ago, I look at it and I cringe. And I cringe already because, I'm not the prettiest person in the world and I don't sound that great. But I look back and I think, wow, that was really bad, but at least it's there, right? So you gotta try and get on YouTube more and get in front of this huge opportunity that you're missing out on. Okay, so now the next thing, number 3, is in-person networking. We used to go to these big networking events all the time. Coronavirus kind of squashed that pretty much. It's something I love to do. It's still effective when you go to in-person networking events. But what is the next best thing? Okay, what are people on all the time? 4 hours a day. 4 hours a day, they're on social media, right? And so if you don't have a social media presence, and I mean a consistent social media presence, then you're missing out on that opportunity as well. People used to have to go to door and door knock and all that kind of stuff to get in front of people. Social media, you can be right on their phone, right in the palm of their hand, talking to them about your brand, your business, what you do, and why it's important to them that they do business with you, right? So here's some things to consider here. I'm just pulling out some numbers. I'm going to have these links where I got these numbers in the show notes, and I'll have a link to the show notes also within the comments. Okay. So there are 7.75 billion people in the world. Out of that many people, 3.8 billion are active on social media in one way or another. Okay. So whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the platform is. I don't even think MySpace even exists anymore, but that's kind of funny to consider. But they will come and they will go, right? But you want to be active on as many of those as you can. All right. Great. Hey, Aaron says that's a great point. I struggle to want to have a polished video that sounds perfect and looks great, but sometimes just having it up is better. Absolutely. I was talking with a client the other day about their videos, about their webinars, and how they need to be posting more and be more consistent. And they were concerned about their image, right? But sometimes you have to make a half-baked idea work rather than a perfect one. Okay, so that will actually work out better, because if you don't have the perfect video, will take up time, it'll take up resources, and then you may never post it. And so a half-baked idea, a half-baked video, even a raw video, people like that even more because that's more relatable to what they have. If you are always posting perfect, polished videos, that's not always going to be the perfect way to relate to your audience. All right. So let's go ahead and go to the next one here, which is radio. Before, people used to listen to radio all the time. Radio is still good for its uses. I like listening to the radio, but people want more things on demand nowadays, right? And so what is the thing people do now is that they podcast. And podcasting is a huge opportunity that most people are not considering. 75% of the homes in the United States right now are actually listening to podcasts or are familiar with that term. But people are listening to podcasts way longer than they're watching YouTube videos or reading your blog, right? The average watch time of a YouTube video is like 5 minutes. Okay. And people skip through, and now YouTube has this awesome feature where you can actually have chapters, and people are skipping through on those chapters, right? But podcasting is a great opportunity. And if you don't have one, you should absolutely get one. And we're going to talk a little bit about why here in just a minute. Podcasting is great because you don't have to show your face. You can actually feel a little bit more comfortable just talking. I take my videos like this and I throw them onto my podcast, right? And so if you're looking for an example on what a podcast looks like or what it can be like, feel free to go to mikeglover.co/radio, and you can see what I'm doing with my podcast there. I have a little bit of a following on it now, but I haven't been as consistent as I should be, but I'm trying to change that, right? Because I'm trying to get out of obscurity, and that's something that you should be doing as well. So think about it. Here's some things to consider about podcasts, right? We talked about the billions of people on YouTube, the billions of websites, the millions of YouTube videos and radio show, or I'm sorry, social media users, all that kind of stuff, right? But podcasting, you have a unique opportunity here because you can actually get in early. Okay, there are over 1 million active podcasts right now. Okay, over 1 million compared to the hundreds of millions or billions of other platforms. There are only 1 million podcasts out right now. Okay, with 30 million episodes total. Okay, so the average listening time on those episodes is also substantially longer. People can hear your voice, they can hear your personality. They do it while they multitask as well. So that is a huge opportunity because I'm not going to be sitting watching a YouTube video while my commute to work, right? I'm going to be listening to a podcast, people who give value and who are consistent with it. So those are the 4 things there that I could come up with to help you guys get out of obscurity, right? Number 1, again, let's review blogging. Blogging is huge and it's important. It helps with your SEO on your website, something we talked about yesterday. It also getting onto YouTube, doing live videos, whether it's YouTube, Facebook Live, Instagram stories, things like that. People like quick, short videos that they can watch, but also they like watching on YouTube, something a little bit longer, maybe some shows, interesting shows, right? Number 3 was social media. Getting on social media, being active user on social media, not just posting your stuff, but also liking and commenting on other people. That helps with their algorithm. and then, of course, podcasting. Now, if you need any help with any of these, feel free to reach out to me, mikeglover.co/discover. I'd be more than happy to have a quick conversation with something that you might be able to do, some of the tools and favorite things that I use. And of course, if you have any kind of questions or comments, something that you do to help get out of obscurity, make sure to leave a comment below, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, any of the other platforms that we're streaming to today. And of course, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe to my channel, mikeglover.co/YouTube. That will actually take you to the subscribe button. And so you can be updated when I go live. I'm trying to go live every single day. We're going to see how that works out. But it's been fun and it's been interesting. So thank you guys so much for watching, for listening, whether you're watching live or listening on a replay. Thank you again so much. And we will talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.